Anyone who spends enough time in the music industry eventually starts reflecting on how they'll be remembered. While no artist can truly determine what their final album will be, some, like David Bowie, have managed to exit the stage with carefully crafted farewell records. In Paul McCartney's case, we've been lucky to witness his later years filled with consistently strong solo material. Even as fans continue to hope for more new music from Macca, it's clear that he's been contemplating his final act for quite some time. That said, slowing down has never really been McCartney's style. During the Beatles' heyday, he was often the driving force, urging the band back into the studio. Though sometimes seen as more of a workhorse compared to his fellow Beatles, his devotion to music went beyond ambition. It was how he had fun. His time on the road with Linda and Wings showed just how much joy music brought him. After Linda's death, albums like Chaos and Creation in the Backyard seemed to become an emotional outlet, helping him process his grief. Of course, there were occasional missteps along the way. In the late 80s, his efforts to stay current sometimes made him seem like he was chasing trends. But as the 90s arrived, albums like Off the Ground and Flaming Pie reminded the world why McCartney was always such a gifted songwriter. If those albums signaled a return to his classic Beatles sound, then Memory Almost Full feels like a culmination of his Wings-era creativity, brought together in one cohesive package. More than just a strong pop release, Memory Almost Full stands out as one of the most varied records of his later years. While albums like New and Egypt Station explore different themes, Memory Almost Full offers something unique in almost every track, from the lighthearted opener, Dance Tonight, to the sweeping drama of House of Wax, to the raw energy of Only Mama Knows. For those concerned about McCartney's own thoughts on mortality, the track The End of the End reveals a deeply personal side of him. Reflecting on the idea of death, McCartney once shared that a line he heard, possibly from James Taylor, about dying sparked his own thoughts on the subject. Rather than picturing death as a somber, traditional affair, he was drawn to the Irish wake tradition, an event filled with laughter, stories, and celebration of life rather than gloom. Though it's far from an uplifting song, its inclusion makes perfect sense. Having lost Linda in the late 90s and paid tribute to George Harrison's songwriting on a previous record, McCartney was clearly considering his own legacy. His desire to be remembered through fond memories and stories is deeply in line with the spirit he's always carried through his music. It will undoubtedly be a heartbreaking moment when one of the remaining Beatles is no longer with us. Yet McCartney, who has long used music as a way to heal, would likely prefer listeners to celebrate the joy his songs brought rather than dwell in sadness. In many ways, McCartney's lasting legacy mirrors that of Brian Wilson. Both artists dedicated their lives to creating music that brought happiness to others. And even when their time on Earth comes to a close, there's something comforting in imagining McCartney reunited somewhere beyond with his old creative partner, John Lennon.